How do you deal with uncomfortable situations? More so, how do you deal with uncomfortable information about yourself? When people come inside you to criticize you and to tell you about the opportunities that you could be taking advantage of if you improved parts of yourself and the way that you interacted and the way that you conducted business and the way that you took care of yourself, how do you handle that? Do you shut down? Do you project your feelings onto them to get them to leave you alone? Do you distract away from the truth that they're giving you from the insight that they have? Do you create problems so you don't have to deal with the parts about yourself that you know it is true, that they're telling you because you know that you could overcome it, but it's too difficult for you to handle the problems because you're weak? Because you would rather give in? Because you would rather play video games? Because you would rather go and eat pizza and eat ice cream and then look in the mirror and be sad about yourself? And then hate yourself, and when other people point those things out, that you're mad at them because they're exposing the truth? If that's you, I don't feel sorry for you that you're in pain, because you've done that. You've created that outcome for yourself. And the people that have put their hands out to try to help you and to show you the truth to the matter that it is, that you're hurting them like a scared dog that's injured, stuck in the corner, biting everything that comes at its way to try to help it, this is your fault. But you can do something different. You can do something that's beneficial to the outcome that you want. You can listen. You can listen to the advice of the people doing the things that you would want to be doing. You can surround yourself with people that are willing to be kind to you, not nice to you and tell you the things that you want to hear, but kind to you and tell you the stuff that you need to hear to become the person that you say that you want to be. And then when you start taking action and you start questioning if you're doing the right thing, I can guarantee you that that person that gave you that information will be there to help get you through those difficult times. But are you willing to take the advice, to listen, to find out what parts of it are accurate and can be utilized for you to become that person? I challenge you today. Do something like I did that helped me get things like this in my life. Roll that intro. I want to thank you for joining us at the Man Up and Own It show, where we tell stories of men that have overcome difficult times in their life to help you overcome those similar opportunities. Today, I am blessed to be sharing this moment at this podcast studio with my friend Jesse. What's up, bro?
Dude, I'm glad to be here. And number one, if you could just listen, like I'm just sitting here listening to this man's intro, and I'm ready to run through a freaking wall, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that's telling you bull crap. There's a lot of people out there that don't care about your health. There's a lot of people out there that don't care about your family. But one thing that I love about Chris is that he's always ultra direct. And if anybody got triggered during his intro, good. Maybe there's something in your life you do need to change. Maybe you need to plug into something that is going to help you level up in all areas of your life. Maybe you just found a show and some people that you could plug into.
How about that?
Help you get to the next level.
You know it is.
I told you I couldn't sit back, bro.
Bro.
I couldn't do it. I can't help it.
So, obviously, you are a part of the Andy Elliott team. And give them a little bit of history about a mentor of yours that has helped bring you to the place that you're at right now.
Absolutely. So number one, I'm 24-year-old, okay? Andy always says this, people that come from nothing can end up with the most. So I found Andy when I was 18-year-old, okay? So what does that look like? I'm 18, I want to go to college. I want to do this. I want to do that. I truthfully didn't know what the heck I wanted to do. But I just so happened to land a job selling cars. I have no idea how to sell cars, right? I have no idea. But you know what I did? We're in the times of technology, right? What does that mean? Well, YouTube, Google, all the information you could possibly ever want, good or bad, is right there at your fingertips. So I get a job selling cars. I go to YouTube, I type in how to sell cars. And then this guy pops up with a little bit of hair. You could tell he's kind of balding a little bit. He's got a little bit of a tire around his waist. But he was saying some stuff that made complete sense. So I was immediately hooked. So I was watching the trainings over and over and over. Andy says whatever is written will be retained. I was taking notes. I was going crazy. And then there was a number that popped up on the screen. It said, text me if you want help. I texted that number. I'm laying in my bed. It's 10 o'clock at night. That number I texted calls me. I'm like, no way. Shit. What's going on here? So I answer it. What up, Jesse, dude? It's Andy Elliott. It's before he got really crazy, psycho, just freaking obsessed. I'm like, dude, no way, dude. This is real. Yeah, man. Well, long story short, I shared a little bit of my story with Andy, and at that point in time, I had a little over $300 in my bank account, and I'm 18, fixing to turn 19. So somebody said, Jesse, you need to start building your credit. So I got approved for a Discover It credit card like 2 months before, and I never even used it. So I had a credit card with a $1,000 limit on it. Don't know how I got a $1,000 limit, but it happened. Long story short, the hour phone conversation I had with Andy, he says, son, you remind me a lot of myself when I was growing up. He says, this is what I want you to do. He said, I want you to buy my 0 to 100K course. It's the only course he had at the time. It was $299.
Okay.
I had 300 and something change in my checking account.
All right.
I bought the training. No more money in the bank account. Don't know how I'm going to pay for my rent, my food, bills. I don't have a clue. And then not only did I do that, he says also, like he said, like you remind me of myself when I was growing up. I want you to spend $997. That's $997 to come to my seminar in Oklahoma, which was in his house, by the way. So he says, and when you do that, I'll pick you up from the airport, and I want you to come a day early. I want you to be able to stay around for a little while, and Jacqueline, my wife, will book your plane flight ticket. So put $997 on a credit card, max that sucker out, committed to go into a stranger's house that I've been watching on YouTube. My family told me I was crazy. Everybody told me I was crazy. But you know what? I just believed.
Oh.
I just believed, man. There was just something there where I didn't care. I didn't care if I got kidnapped. I didn't care. I believed so much that this is exactly what I needed. And fast forward 5-6 years, it absolutely was. And I'm so glad I made that decision. And I was talking to, because like right now, the people that I deal with mostly are business owners and entrepreneurs just wanting to grow a team, crush it in sales. That's typically who I deal with. But my favorite lead that comes in is the 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds that's lost. Maybe they're freaking struggling. Maybe they're fat. Maybe they're out of shape. Maybe they're an introvert. Those are my favorite people. And it's not because, trust me, it's not because of money, because they don't have money.
Right.
The business owners is what pay the dough. But those are the people that's the future. Those are the people that if I could get my hands a hold of, just like Andy got a hold of me when I was a young age, those are the people that will change and they will be with you for life if you could just give them away, because people are dying for leaders right now.
I think you make a very good point to the part of them being desperate for somebody to come in and be that example for them. And that's one good thing that I have seen from the group that you guys are, of the consistent example that you set. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your brothers, and take care of your business.
Yeah.
And it's basic. It's simple. Anybody can follow it. But unfortunately, that we have in our society right now is not that example. We got a lot of people that would rather just go and play at ideas of who they want to be in a moment, right? Whether that's a boy, a girl, a cat, a car, maybe. I don't know. It's 2024. Anything could be existing, right?
And that's the fucked up part.
we are exactly what we are,
Yes.
right? You and I are men, and that we have standards and examples that we have to set for our families and for other men. What do you think the example that Andy set for you, and how is that being beneficial to you now?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, number one, his biggest thing is being real. Like, I've been in sales since I was 18. I never lied to anybody, never stole, never cheated, never done anything that was not ethically right. Like, that wasn't not ethical, right? And that right there, like, to me, like the people that I do business with, the people that I run with, if I tell them there's a monkey in a tree, they're going to bring bananas because my word is gold.
Yes.
My word is gold. And I believe everybody's word is gold that I meet until they give me a reason not to believe them.
I think it's a very good point. We should assume the best versus assuming the worst in people. Now, I'd like to be able to speak to your credibility on that. When we had talked over the phone and you had wanted me to come into one of Andy's seminars, and we didn't have the finances at the time, and you understood. And even to this day, we still have talked, and you're here at the podcast, even though I couldn't buy something from you in that moment. And I think that speaks a lot to your character, that it's not just a transactional, that we actually care about the future and the outcome of people.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you like to see in people and how they change?
I want people that's coachable. I want people that will run the play. I want people that if you tell them to do this, when they ask for help, to do it. Because if they don't, it's just, they're not going to end up where they want to. And they're never going to be happy. They're never going to be satisfied. And the last thing that I would want personally for myself, and along with every other person, is imagine dying and then you're in heaven, and then they're going over your chart. Man, Jesse, I had you 185 jacked. I had you changing millions of lives. I had you doing this. I had you doing that. But dude, I had no idea that you was going to do all this extra stuff. But what if he's going over and he's like, Jesse, I had you doing this. Jesse, I had you doing this. And you never achieved those things.
You never even tried.
You never even tried. Maybe you did try, but you got punched in the mouth because growth hurts. Pain is how you grow. You don't just go to the gym and pick up a dumbbell one time and then you set it down. No, you got to burn that stuff. You got to literally go to it. It feels like it's ripping off the bone. And that's how it grows.
Yes, sir.
But most people, society nowadays, they want you to be soft. I call them snowflakes, right? They want you to be soft. They want you to be unmasculine. They want you to just be a yes man and just follow in line and go get the old vax and just be controlled. It's bullshit. But the fact is, now people like you and me are waking up. They're doing podcasts like this to share how we think, because us as a whole have been silenced for too long because we wasn't into the bullshit and all the social media stuff. Now it's time to speak up. Yeah. Now it's time to let people know this is how we operate. It's okay to be this way. It's okay to be direct with people. It's okay to discipline your kids. It's okay to be you and do what you feel is right, because the news brainwashes people to be scared and think the world's ending. The people that you run around, like you was telling me, your boss, your ex-boss or whatever, that's the best blessing you ever had.
Absolutely.
And he's like, just imagine if you still was there.
Right.
Bro, you would never be fulfilled.
No, and that's what was happening. And I think that's where we have to look at ourselves in the mirror, understand who it is that we want to be in the end, and hold ourselves to it. And if the people that we're surrounded by aren't helping us get there, then they're actually holding us back. And that's a disservice not only to ourselves, but it's a disservice to them, because we're not being the best version of ourselves. And if we're not being the best version of ourselves, we're not bringing shit to the table. And the shit that we are bringing to the table is actually an atrocity. It should be thrown away. It's crap, right? So if you could tell somebody out there one bit of advice right now that could potentially change their life, what would it be?
This is so good, and I'm so glad you asked this question. You ready for this?
Dun, dun, dun.
You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. Everybody starts somewhere, and it doesn't matter. We're all dealt a different deck of cards, but the fact is there's a lot of people out there that doesn't even play the game, and they're just sitting there holding their cards in their hand waiting for something to happen. And they're going to have the same life this year as they had last year. They're never going to be fulfilled. Their kids are not going to look up to them. And then when they do get put 6 feet under, the regrets, just I can't even imagine the stuff that goes through their mind, living an unfulfilled life.
I got a really cool question for you that I ask every one of my clients in the beginning and a lot of the people on this podcast. Who is it, the man that you want to be remembered as at your funeral? When people get up to talk about you and to talk about Jesse, what is it that you want them to say?
When it goes back to earlier, your word is gold. I want people to say that this man, this human being, he always done everything he possibly could right. Whether it was the right decision or the wrong decision, he did everything and give it all of his belief because that was what was right to him at that time. And I'm sure that I'm going to make mistakes someday, but you know what? I would rather be all in on something than straddling the fence.
Yep.
Because there's too many people right now that straddling the fence, and that's what's wrong with this country.
Absolutely.
That's what's wrong with this country.
They're lukewarm, right?
Absolutely.
So with that being said, and being a man that gave it his all, what would the actions look like to be that man?
Number one, you got to find a mentor, right? It's like, for me, I found Andy Elliott. I found Andy Frisella. I found David Goggins. Those were the people that I hyper obsessed and literally brainwashed myself every single day on what they was doing because I wanted what they had. And I heard this, I don't remember exactly who it was from, but like, you find a mentor because I'm on this path right here and it's just this field. And then there's briars, there's cactuses, there's things that you don't want to run through because you're going to get poked and you're going to get hurt. If you find a mentor that's already blazed the trail through the briar patch, just jump behind him and follow that guy. You're not going to get stuck near as many times. But you have to be coachable and you have to be listened. So find a mentor. Find somebody. Like if Chris, what you hear from Chris, you need to plug in, you need to master everything that he possibly says and learn everything. And you don't have to just have one mentor. You can have multiple. You can have thousands of mentors. But the main thing is you need to implement and emulate what they do so that way you can have it as well.
You know, I don't know if you know the story, how we met Andy Elliott, my wife and I, but it's interesting how you brought up the mechanism. Marianne and I had decided what we needed to do to get to the next level was be around people doing the things that we wanted to be doing that shared the same morals and values. We shook on it. We got out of the car and we were walking into this TJ Maxx in Scottsdale, and I had heard this place had really good clothes. I was like, all right, cool. I always like finding better clothes at a cheaper price for my clients. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, cool. Well, we were walking in, and I had just seen some videos maybe the day before about Andy talking about Jacqueline and promoting her. And I was like, dude, that dude is so cool. He's up here talking about how his wife helped him get to the next phase. Not like all this other bullshit red pill crap where they're talking about being masculine and a man's got to do all this and that. That's bullshit. We share equal responsibilities, and sometimes some of us have to be masculine, whatever. Mm-hmm. That's neither here nor there. But I recognized him. He was walking out as we were walking in, and we both did the whole buff guy stare down, gave each other the head nod, and just kept walking. And then it clicked. That's Andy Elliott. I turned around, and I was like, Elliott? He turned around, he's like, yeah? And I was like, holy shit. And I knew at that point there was a moment in my life where my identity was in question. Are you going to continue to be the scared fucking loser? Or are you going to step up and be the man that you want to be? And I was like, I walked over to him, Christopher Reeves, it's nice to meet you. Looked him dead in my eyes, and I was scared shitless. Because I had just met someone that I respected and looked up to, and I'd never been in those types of situations to meet these type of people, especially just walking into a TJ Maxx.
Unexpected.
Right. I mean, you're not from a big city like me. We're from little towns in the middle of fucking nowhere. And now all of a sudden I'm meeting somebody that's got some prestige. And he listened to me. He wanted to know what I was all about and what I wanted to accomplish. And when I told him, he invited me out to the Lion's Den. Well, my wife and I go out there. It's on a Tuesday. I watch him give a watch to Sean, which was there. And I watched the whole team come together and celebrate him. And I was like, wow, this is a place that there are lots of men actually doing the stuff that I would want to be doing. And they're not jealous of somebody else getting something. They're celebrating his win.
Yes.
I was like, wow. And then Andy came over and told me that I was introverted. And I was like, what? It's not me. And he was like, well, you're sure not extroverted enough. And then he proceeded to call me out on all my other flaws, on things that I had been turning the intensity down on. And he picked apart our relationship, and he was right about every one of them. Now, the people online may argue with this because all they see is sensational clips. But Andy was the most genuine and authentic, and he actually cared when he told us. Even when he told me that I failed my wife, he wasn't wrong. And he didn't beat me up and call me a loser. He just reminded me of the fact that I could have done more and been better, and showed me that I could do more and better. And if I never would have met Andy Elliott, this podcast wouldn't have existed. Because after I went to Andy's Ultimate Closer, I met the millionaire that signed me to coach him and change his image, that got me on this podcast, that got me speaking on stages. And now all of the things that I've ever dreamed of are starting to happen. But I had to take action. I had to listen to somebody, right? These moments, guys, you need to understand that they come once in a while. And if you're not doing the work on yourself, you're not going to be able to recognize the opportunity that is in front of you for you to take to change your life. Have you ever had any of those moments like that?
Bro, oh my gosh. I'm just... I'm just sitting here like, what happens if Andy was a fraud and he didn't genuinely give a shit about the conversation that he had with you, and then you continue to live that same life? Dude, I wouldn't have met you.
Nope.
We wouldn't have been on this podcast giving value to all these people that's going to watch that.
Yep.
And, I mean, oh my God.
But it's a huge trickle-down effect, right? When we look at the people that I have interacted with that have then gone out and worked with somebody else, you, and then those people that you've worked with gone out and worked with somebody else, and how that just spreads out. It goes really in depth to the point of which if we keep our mouths shut and we don't work on ourselves, then we don't make impact that could potentially change the outcome of our families, of our communities, of our cities, our states, our country, the world.
Yeah.
It's sad.
1000%.
What would you tell somebody out there that's listening to us that has hope but is scared to make the first step? What would you tell them to do?
Make the first step. If you're not scared, there's something wrong. Because what did Chris just say? He's a badass looking dude. I mean, look at him. He's a pretty jacked guy. There you go. But guess what? He was still scared because he met somebody that he had looked up to. He's like, dang, I like this guy. He's like, shit, I don't want to do this. This is uncomfortable. What did he do? He ran to pressure, and now he's got this freaking amazing facility. Him and his wife are on fire. His business is growing like crazy. He could get seminar tickets now if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to feel uncomfortable. It's just like swimming for the first time. It's just like riding a bike for the first time. It's scary at first, but you have to do it if you want to grow, if you want to go to that next level. So those little butterflies in your stomach, that just means you're getting excited. We're going to reprogram our minds, and you're going to love this too. Every time you get those little butterflies in your stomach and you're like, oh, before a football game, or oh, before I go shake Andy's hand, oh, before I do this, that's good. You need to trigger yourself to being, oh, I'm excited, I'm about to grow.
Bam.
Ooh, I'm excited, I'm about to grow. Every single time. I wish I got that feeling more now.
You know, the brain processes anxiety and excitement as the same.
Yes.
The only thing that makes it different is the way that we choose to perceive it.
Yeah.
So if we can eliminate the idea that I'm going to die and turn it into I'm going to live, then we can conquer more and we can obtain more.
Yeah.
What's probably one of your favorite stories that you've had coaching somebody else?
Yeah, well, this is something that's been super crazy, and I've shared it twice in the past month. I had a lead come in, and Andy sent it to me. He says, I don't believe I'm going to be here much longer. I'm going to kill myself. This is a grown man. He's in his 40s. It's 10 o'clock at night. I called him. I was like, listen to me. I said, before you kill yourself, I need you to give me 30 days. And then if you still feel the same after that, go for it. But for right now, you owe me 30 days because I'm on this phone call with you at 10:30 at night, and you're going to give me and Andy these 30 days, and you're going to show yourself what all you're capable of in these next 30 days. Is that fair? Done. I said, awesome. You're going to walk 3 miles every single day. And this guy's 400 pounds.
Oh, shit.
Humongous. Like, he says, Jesse, I could barely get out of the chair. I said, I don't care. We're going to do 3 miles every single day. You don't have to run it, but what's going to happen to me is before long, you're going to be running these 3 miles. We're on like day 60-something. He's running 3 miles every single day now.
Bam.
He's more fired up. He's in love with his wife. He has kids too, by the way. But what happens, I mean, he just had bad programming in his head. He's had a bunch of bullshit that's been plugged in from the news, his environment. He had a bunch of crappy stuff, but he just found an Andy Elliott video. Next thing you know, I got a lead. I called it at 10:30 at night because he's going through some shit, and I just had a conversation with him. That's all it was.
You know, honestly, I don't think people want to quit. Actually, what people want is the opportunity to feel seen and to be heard.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our society is so fucking programmed into being interesting that they forgot the opportunity to be interested. And for us to have the moment to actually listen to somebody, that's what that guy wanted.
Yeah.
And he also wanted someone to tell him that he could do better.
Yeah.
He could be somebody that everyone would look up to. His kids would be proud to call him dad, that he could be the fucking superhero.
Yeah.
But he didn't see it when he looked in the mirror. He just wanted someone else to see it for him.
Yeah. And right now, you got to think. The schooling system, college, what is this programming you to do? It's programming you to be a cog in the wheel. It's programming you
Absolutely.
to be a factory worker. It's programming you to be told what to do.
I would say it's even programming us to be it is programming us to be dependent on the validation of somebody else. You think about it, like a kid takes a test. The test is only validation for the teacher to prove that they can do their job, giving the information for the student to regurgitate. Has no real reflection on if the student actually knows the fucking work or not.
Yep.
They can't apply it to life. So what good is the information?
Absolutely. And you got to think too, when you're talking to these people, like a lot of my business owners right now that we're coaching, they're like, Jesse, I tell these people what to do. Like they just don't understand. I was like, no shit. They've had garbage, like talking about the 20-year-olds. They're lazy. They're doing this. Yeah. But that's their normal because they don't know what real work is because they haven't had the right people teach them the right things. So you literally have to dumb it down and tell them exactly how to do it, baby steps. And then guess what? Those people, they're dying for a leader. So when you could be the one that takes a little bit of time out of your day and teach them exactly how to do it, those people will be with that person for life.
Imagine that.
Woo! And also, if you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30-year-old, if you're a younger guy and you're like, well, these people don't respect me because I'm young, good. Go out and do something so they will respect you, because nobody's going to until you put some time in the paint, till you put some skin in the game. And then guess what? You could talk to people, whoever it is, have a direct conversation with them and just be real, because guess what? As long as you're real, as long as you're telling the truth, if they love you or hate you, great. You told the truth and you done what was right.
And they weren't, and then you're not dependent upon their validation. It does not matter if they like you or not. It doesn't. No. The only thing that matters is if you're a man of your word and you're true to what you're trying to accomplish. Are your intentions pure? You know? So if you could give some advice out there, like on a relationship side, what would it be for a man out there that wants to improve his relationship?
Absolutely. If you treat it like it was the beginning, there'll never be an end. What does that mean? Well, remember when you first started dating her and you got all those googly eyes and the feelings in your stomach where it was just so good? You couldn't wait to just spend time with her and be around her. But say you get a year, 2 years in, 6 months in, and then you're not going on dates, you're not smacking her on the ass, you're not doing things just to show massive value to her like you did in the beginning. That's it. It's that simple. You need some counseling advice? If you treat it like the beginning, there'll never be an end. Solved.
My mentor, Tab Pierce, likes to say, did you earn a second date? If every time that you take your wife out, your girl out, whatever, did you earn that next date? Did you show up as your best? Because if you didn't earn it, then why should they want to show up again, whether they're married to you or not? Just because they're married to you doesn't mean that they need to show up if you didn't show up. It's quite interesting how most people think that they got it once they got it. And then that's it. And it's not it, because right now, Jesse's going to tell you how you can get a hold of him if you want to.
There you go. So number one, I love providing value. I'm obsessed with giving people a lot of information just to see if they'll take it just because it was free. So what I'm going to do for people that text me, Chris, text me, I seen you on Chris's podcast. I'm going to give you a recording of one of our live master closer seminars, and we sell those for $1,000. I'll give it to you for free. I will give it to you for free. All you have to do is let me know that you heard this podcast. Say, hey, Jesse, I heard you. Send me over that video. Boom, I'll send it to you. I've done this one time before. I had 500 people text me, and every one of them got that video. 500! The views on these seminars are like it's like a pre-recorded video, so you can see how many views it has on it. It had like 100 views, and now it has like 600.
Nice.
I had a piece to do with that, but I don't care. I want to see people win. I want to see people grow. I want to see people become the best versions of themselves. I want them to have a great family. I want them to have a great income. I want them to have a great body. I want them to look good. That's what I want. Because in America right now, we don't have a people problem. We have a cultural problem. And how we fix that is by every single one of us living on personal excellence, doing the right things, being leaders and examples to everybody they come in contact with, from the grocery store to the gas station, having a smile on your face, interacting with somebody and being real, because that's the missing piece. And if you could just do those little things, we could end it right here. You could clip this one little piece out. If you could just be a real person and actually give a crap about other people,
Bam.
You'll beat people 9 times out of 10 every single time, just because you was real.
And how do they find you?
My personal cell phone number, area code 256-605-7800. Again, that's area code 256-605-7800. You could also find me on Instagram at Jesse_Cloud9. That's JESSE_Cloud9.
Booyah. And you heard it best right here from Jesse. And I want to thank you right now from joining us on the Man Up and Own It show. Don't forget to hit that like button and then hit that subscribe button, because you know that you're going to want to go back and watch the other videos and catch the new videos when they drop out, because you want to become the best version of yourself. And the easiest way to do that is by watching other examples and listening to the stories of other men that have overcome it. Thank you for joining us on the Man Up and Own It show.